Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Coming to you live from Silicon Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks.
Yes, we're wonderful. Thank you, Brian. That is officially my ringtone in the morning, so it gets me going, and I hope it gets you going. Thanks for joining us today. We got JP in the house today, Brian.
We do. We've got JP in the house.
Yeah,
that's great.
He's literally my neighbor. So, and we're a year in, and we finally got him here. But JP, good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna get into who you are.
You're just launching.
I'm just well, no, I know
you can. I can tell you're excited to launch. Like you didn't even like acknowledge me or say hi or anything. Usually I get a little nod.
Yeah.
No, but not today. I understand. JP's an important guy. We want to just get on with it. Who am I?
Well, no, there's a couple things, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week we're going to be at Opel. You and I.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, we're slowing it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me get a hold of myself because I'm so excited. This week we're going to be at Opel. We're going to be there rolling out the red carpet, talking to a lot of Opel's guests, their speakers. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Opel, go to opel.net, check out their events. They focus on family office curation. They bring a lot of great people together for investment purposes. JP, you been to an Opel event yet, JP?
I have not, no.
Okay, maybe I see if I get you a ticket. But we're going to be interviewing, Brian and I, we're going to be interviewing their guests. And so that show is going to be rolling out soon. So we're excited about that. And as we're recording this, we would have just had our Stack launch lunch out in Oakland at 1900 Broadway. Mm-hmm. I'm totally laying it out here right now. Amazing. Check out the videos that'll be coming out. We had our videographer there, so that'll be rolling out soon. But if you didn't have a chance to make it out there, we're going to be doing a lot more events at 1900 Broadway in Oakland.
Which I got a tour of last week, and it's just truly amazing. I mean, there's just so much happening there, and it's such its own world of all these different elements. It's really nice.
I'm pushing this as the completion of the tech triangle. You got Silicon Valley, where you go to raise, and you got San Francisco, a lot of innovation and team building opportunities there. But you can really grow in Oakland.
I love it.
You could grow. Yeah.
That should be their slogan.
That's what we're pushing.
Is it their slogan? Did you lift that?
I lift that. Yeah. Tech triangle.
You can really grow in Oakland.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then maybe they rename their airport too.
To Brian.
Oh yeah. Sparks International.
I want it to be the Brian International Airport, Oakland.
We're swinging for the fences, making an impact. All right.
How can I impact the world with this?
Change the name of the Oakland Airport into Brian and Brian. All right. Impact Airport.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. You into it, Brian?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm into it.
All right. So we usually don't do this, but because I'm such a fan of JP, where we've got a solo guest today. Usually we have a full house, but JP, having you on with your energy and your insight, I figured we just dedicate the whole show to you.
No pressure. Huh?
No pressure. Thanks for being here.
Don't blow it.
Don't blow it. Yeah, spotlight's on you. All right, so I know you well. A lot of people in our ecosystem know you, but for those who don't know you around the world, go ahead and give a quick little intro into who you are and what you're up to.
Sure. As you can hear, I'm not originally from the US. I'm Swiss born, grew up in Switzerland, kind of did I would say, non-traditional for the US standards journey in education. I went to high school. Out of high school, I went to a vocational school, which was focused on business, basically a business vocational school, commercial. And then I was a software engineer for 2 years, did my military service in between, and then went to undergrad and went into new media consulting, which was in the early 2000s, basically.
Oh, wait, I didn't know this. Did I know this? New media consulting?
I don't know. Maybe we talked about it.
Okay, all right. We're going to come back to that. So, so you got a new media consulting.
Yeah, and think about it as like bringing people on the internet, on apps. Uh-huh. And then I moved to the States in 2010. I met my wife in undergrad. She's American, so she was the draw for me to make the jump over the pond, and haven't missed a beat since then. I love it out here. I lived in Chicago for 12 years, and I've been living here since 21 in Los Gatos, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
there's no better place, I believe, in the entire Bay Area than Los Gatos.
Yeah.
It's a good place. You
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
Yeah, I think I could argue that. There's a lot of other good places. Don't get me wrong. I love the Bay Area, but Los Gatos is definitely where it's at.
JP, is your wife American then?
She is, yeah. She's from Arizona
Oh,
originally.
from Arizona.
Yeah.
So also integrate a little bit into what you're doing
Sure.
now, what you're creating.
Sure. Like during my time in Chicago, I worked for a big German conglomerate. I helped them basically build an investment strategies into startups and was investing in their name into up and coming software companies in the automotive space. And then I moved to a venture studio out here, which brought me to California. Basically, it was an excuse to move. Chicago is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but the winters here are just better than in Chicago.
Yeah.
So after that venture studio experience, I kind of felt there is something else I want to do. The entrepreneurial journey always tickled me.
Being an entrepreneur, was that always in your blood? Did you feel it? When did you feel it?
I think the first time I felt it in my teens. My best friends and I, we were gamers, like Counter-Strike gamers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Counter-Strike.
No, not at all, but go ahead.
It's like a video game, it's a first shooter game. And we built a little organization that organized LAN parties. Think of a LAN party like 100 kids coming with their laptop, at that time, not laptops, actually with their desktop computers and screens, setting up in a big room and playing video games with each other.
Okay, so early years of gaming.
Yeah, we basically built that to pretty sizable environment, ecosystem where we had hundreds of people participate in big conference centers. And that kind of, I would say, was my first entrepreneurial journey I started.
Bringing people together.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, okay, well played. And so now you're working, tell us a little bit about shuckerVC.
Sure. Yeah, so...
Say the name of the company again. You kind of mumbled it, Brian.
shuckerVC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll tell you about the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
First
Yeah,
the
let's
name.
start there.
The name came from the journey of Graham, my co-founder, and myself. We have known each other since I moved to Chicago in 2010 and always stayed in touch. And when Jennifer, my wife, and I moved out here, Graham and Michelle invited us to go and have oysters up in Tamales Bay. And we come to Tamales Bay, we all have oysters, we opened them ourselves. It was a fantastic experience. And Graham and I were like chatting always of what's up in the industry. He is a founder of an AI company together with some really technical co-founders. And he told me his story. I told him what I'm up to. And as the time progressed, we were like, we should do something together. So
wait, can I say something right now? Because I immediately sensed in your story something that's not said, but always felt. The energy. You could feel his energy because you translated a little bit as you were talking about his startup journey. Like it came through. Was it the energy of what he was doing and that being a part of you that really kind of like, I need to do that too because that's in me?
Yeah, I totally believe so. I think we are kind of a little bit of yin and yang when it comes to energy. Graham is extremely grounded, is super amazing intellectual person who really keeps me abreast when I'm sometimes a bit too energetic. And
I love it.
And as friends, you start discussing ideas, and Graham and I always love talking about tech. I mean, since I know him, we were standing in line together to get a new Apple product at the Apple Store in Chicago when they were still standing in line for new products at the Apple Store. And we always talked about tools that came out which you could utilize in our professional and personal life. And that said, it kind of merged into the idea of what can we do for early stage startups that is different than just giving them capital. We'll give them capital, but what else can we bring to the table? And Graham had an amazing journey at Under AI, where he was the person managing all the back office tasks from finance, marketing, business development, you name it.
So he knew the details.
He knew the details.
Yeah.
He knew the actual labor work. And I, as an investor at the German conglomerate, basically was doing the same thing with my team in the back office, helping our startups we invested in to progress into the next stage of an inflection point. And we were like, wow, we need to do something with this. There's something there. So we said, like, what could we do that is not just a venture fund? And don't get me wrong, I think the venture fund ecosystem is extremely strong. I wouldn't challenge it how it is today, but I think it leaves room to be innovative still. And we said, let's be a little bit more innovative. And how can we be innovative? So we really looked at our strengths. Graham's operational rigor and strength is incredible. And we knew if we take his playbooks he built with Unlearn AI, and we apply these playbooks to early stage investing as well as early stage operation, we can build some magic.
So let me ask you this really quick. So, I mean, there are people who come in here, and there's two sides of the coin. Some say, oh, the VC system needs to change, and there's those who, no, it's fine the way it is. If there's a way to win the way that it is, which you saw, it's like, you can still win. We could do it this way. It doesn't need to be reinvented. But yet you identified this opportunity to bring an additional value add. What was really the edge that you were going for?
Can I put that question on hold for just 1 second? Can we remember that question and come right back to it?
I don't know. Sometimes there's these things that are in the moment, but go ahead. We'll do our best, right?
Because you say, people say that it needs to be reinvented.
Yeah.
What do they say is wrong with it?
Well,
I'd like to get there as a base so that when we get to JP's answer, I know where we're going from.
So not to call anybody out in our past shows, but there has been people who have sat in this chair and have said it needs to change. And we didn't drill down on it. And I'm sure, anyone who's close to it could say, okay, well, it's working well in this area, but it needs to be changed here. Maybe there's some needs to democratize access a little bit better. Maybe there's a diversification needs to go on. I mean, we've taken a strong look at the percentage of which women are getting funded. We've taken a lot of different looks at this, and I'm sure people will all have their arguments of why it needs to change, and yet why it still works in some capacity. Maybe there's a hybrid. So I think without putting words in someone else's mouth, we should have them on to discuss that. But I'm curious that if we are going to move the needle in a progressive way in any fashion, I'm hearing from JP that, hey, no, there needs to be this competitive value add or advantage, or I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I actually wouldn't call it competitive, nor would I call it like trying to be too different to what's already out there. Mm-hmm. I think the beauty about the venture capital ecosystem is that it leverages each other and builds each other up.
Yeah.
If there wouldn't be so much capital in Silicon Valley, we wouldn't have the innovation which is going on and the race which we are seeing today. Mm-hmm. So that said, it leaves room for multiple participants with differentiated ways to help early stage companies or late stage companies in their journey. There is participants who are extremely operational, helping in the later stages companies go public or expand in their ideal customer footprint. Then there is early stage investors who are extremely involved, who even help fund companies from 0 to 0.5 and ideate those. And we just believed there is also still space in the middle of the two. Mm-hmm. There is space where you can say, hey, we come in complementary, not competitive, complementary to the stack which is already existing. And how we are coming in is not that different to a traditional venture capital firm, big or small. We are writing a check up to $500,000, and then we are bringing value into the team. This is by one person joining that founding team and operating the whole back office of it. Mm-hmm. Think of it like your fractional resources you usually hire. You hire growth, finance, accounting, HR, marketing, and then you have all these slices you have to manage as a founder. So we said, instead of you as a founder slicing and dicing through these verticals of operational power, you should have one point of contact. And that one point of contact will manage all these tasks. And in certain cases, they will go out and ask a provider to help. In other cases, they just do it themselves.
Yeah. So you're bringing the pieces of the chess game to people so they can focus on their innovation.
Absolutely.
I love that. Let's back up a little bit, because I love what you're doing. I think when you and I first met, we really geeked out on this, like how many different resources we could bring to startups in order to accelerate what they're doing. But for those who are listening, which is a lot of startups themselves, other VCs who may be launching their first fund, let's speak to them first about what you're working on. First off, tell us a little bit about your thesis and what you focus on and why that has become a valuable focus for you.
Well, our thesis is not that special. We invest into B2B software companies that have a highly technical founder and have a huge AI enablement. I think when we think about AI, we really want to invest into companies that have a native element in their general user interface with AI. What do I mean with that? We don't like to see chatbots. We'd like to see AI doing the work in the background and enabling the front-end user to be faster and more deliberate on what they do on a daily basis. We believe that AI has the capability of changing how we interact with technology in the future.
Is there a company that maybe is in your portfolio that could give a good example of that?
Yeah.
I'm sure you got a few of them, but just top of mind.
Top of mind, I think, totally not GUI, too much GUI, but one of our first portfolio company, Algorized, built an AI algorithm that is implemented into edge devices. So think of radar sensors, think of ultra-wideband sensors. They basically built a code that you can implement on these sensors. And now all of a sudden, the sensor becomes intelligent. What do I mean with this? If you take a sensor today without the technology, it knows pretty much there's movement in the room. It knows maybe how many people there are, can count it a little bit, but really not good, actually, quite unreliable. But what their technology does is they know your heart rate, your breathing rate.
Come on.
They will see my heart rate, which is currently a little bit elevated because I have to speak in a microphone, my breathing rate. And they know
you and me
Brian's heart rate and breathing rate, and they can follow it. So
this is an electronic sensor that's somewhere mounted in the room, just monitoring us.
Yeah, it actually, looking around here in our room where we are sitting, you don't have one of these sensors in here. Sometimes you have an Amazon device in here.
We do, I don't know about it.
Some Amazon cameras have USB sensors in them, but basically what it is a sensor which is in every single car. What unlocks your car doors when you walk towards your car, when you don't have to press a button, that's a UWB sensor. So their technology is software or a firmware in that case that is implemented on that sensor. And what does it do to a car, for example? It lets you know who is in the car after you locked it as well. So think of the deaths we have in the US when it's hot like today, where babies are left in a car and nothing happens. In the future, the car will know that there is a human life for a pet in the car. If it's a really good car, it will turn on the AC. If it's not been turned on, it will actually call your phone saying that you left someone in the car. Or it will call the authorities, like a 911 call. Someone was left in the car, but the temperature will be maintained. We know what's happened. And there's so many other cases. Think of mass transit accidents where you have to triage. If you would know where is life, you could triage much better than if you wouldn't, where you have to find the puzzle pieces. So this is just one application for that technology. The technology goes into robotics. How do robots?
That's exactly where my mind went first of all, right? Like this is Terminator stuff, right? Where the Terminator robot's walking around and gets a readout of everybody's vitals on the little.
Well, that's kind of doomish, but I will call it. Think of it a bit different. You have robots. We will have robots in our lives.
Yeah.
These robots might act as our extended help, but they might also just act tangentially next to us without even helping us. For a robot, knowing that there is life without seeing life, without having a 360 camera, is extremely powerful. So it's not about reading our vitals and knowing our vitals. It's knowing that there is life around you. Robots in a warehouse, robots in a manufacturing facility. We want robots to be part of our lives. The best way to have robots be part of our lives is them knowing that there is life around them.
Oh, that's good. So these are the type of companies that you're on the lookout for. If we have startups listening to us right now, my next natural question is, what are those startups? I mean, aside from what we just talked about, how do they land on your radar?
So we have a lot of VCs who are referring us deals. This is usually how we get into a deal, is that a major VC says like, hey, Shocker is kind of special. These guys are really focused on technical founder. XYZ is a technical founder. Therefore, you should talk to Shocker, to Graham or JP, and figure out if that's a match, because they could really help you growing your team. To the point I made earlier of that portfolio company, we helped her double and a half her team over 6 months. All FP&A is done, all HR is done. It's extremely well positioned to now go into the next inflection point. And we are looking for founders who are highly technical, who don't want to wear 15 hats, don't want to run payroll at 11 p.m. the night where it's due, so everyone gets paid. All these little things. Don't want to categorize their expenses every single week after they spend something. So we want people who are in love with their technology and their product.
And you give them the freedom to build by taking all that peripheral stuff kind of off their plate.
Exactly.
I love it. And so you're in your first fund, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
You're in your first fund. You're deploying at this point already. What are some of, I mean, if someone's pitching you, say, you know, and what it sounds like to me is that the deal flow you have is built on trust. Like someone refers you, it's really a trust game. It's really a relationship game. So a couple startups come across your desk or they're pitching to you. What are you looking for?
Well, number one is their story aligned with what we're looking to invest in. I think too often the story is not aligned with what our story is. And our story is pretty public on our website, what we are looking for, who we are looking for. So that's usually the first gate. Alignment, yeah. And then next is really getting to know the leadership team, getting to know the founders.
And what are you looking for in a leadership team?
There's a couple of archetypes which we look for is really, like, as I said earlier, like being in love with what they're doing, having a vision, being able to show us product progress over the few weeks we talk to them, having that iterative approach to really build, and also see how they react to market environments within their ICP when they talk to their customers, what's happening there, how are they pivoting if they need to pivot or adapt. And I think these are the things which gets us excited, because when we talk to founders and we are 3-4 weeks into the discussion and we just found out they have another product which launched or another feature that launched, and it's just like something we see that there was a lot of work in, that excites us.
Okay. And so what I'm hearing, and I hear it a lot from people who come in here talk about what it takes to be a great founder, is really what shows up first is who they are as a leader. I mean, early stages, their product or what they're creating, it may pivot. It may not be, you know, the first iteration the entire time.
Absolutely.
And so what I'm hearing you say, and what I routinely hear investors say is, we take a good look at character, leadership. What is the quality of the team working together?
Absolutely. And if you think about it, with our value add, what we bring to the table, it has to be a good match on a cultural and interpersonal aspect. There is a lot of trust involved in what we do.
Yeah.
And just alone that is a good requirement to see if you click or not.
Click with the team, you click with the company you're investing in. Or all the above.
All the above, yeah.
All the above. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. And so how does a team get better at that? Or how does an individual get better at that? Because I meet a lot of smart people.
Get better at what, Brian?
The leadership capacity, the ability to drive, the ability to think from a people strategy. I mean, in Silicon Valley, you meet a ton of smart people who can build great stuff, but that doesn't mean that they have a business model around it or the capacity to drive it. But how do you build that into somebody?
I think it's a great question. There might be a little bit of bias to have more than one founder. I think if you have a team, and I see that with Graham, we are a team. You challenge each other. You discuss, you elaborate, you
disagree.
Yeah, absolutely. And healthy disagreement. What do I mean with that? It's like having a discussion where you try really hard to dissect each other's argument and understand what led to this argument, what led to this position. And I think as a solo founder, if you are a solo founder, you almost have to do that with yourself over and over again. But a solo founder can strengthen its capabilities by just having a really good sounding board around them. People who advise them. And I'm not talking here about professional advice. I'm not talking about investors into their company. People they trust, who are not going to lie to them, who are not going to tell them something just so they heard it.
Yeah.
They need people who challenge them on a daily basis. And if you have a duo, and if duo is well positioned, they can challenge each other.
Do you think, Brian, sorry, I knew you want to say something. Go ahead. I'll let you ask
No. I'm just watching and listening.
Okay. So do you think from a communication standpoint, there always needs to be the devil's advocate in the room to challenge, to stress test an idea?
Well, Brian, you just used the word always.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think everybody always needs the devil's advocate. And I want to just chime in here because we've heard on the show a number of times that sometimes, and frequently I would say, founders have a hard time pivoting when it's time to pivot. And I think that devil's advocate in the room can help people to have a broader vision of where they are in the marketplace and what the product is doing, and can help to to course correct as time goes along, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing that too. And to add to that, Brian and JP, I can see the gears turning with you. What I heard you say, JP, is being very self-aware of not only knowing what your strengths are and then playing into those, but knowing what your weaknesses are and being open to that feedback and correction. I mean, if you're defensive, you're not going to receive that alternate perspective.
Yeah, but I think also defensive people have a hard time being in partnerships.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Partnerships are difficult. They're like marriages, and defensive people generally are solo players.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, a lot of things to make you
There's
go.
only one guy in the room today, so I'm participating more, Brian. I hope you're okay
get
with
into it,
I'm
Brian.
just jumping in here.
Yeah,
Plus,
get your hands dirty.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I love it. All right, so we're at 28 minutes. We're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation with JP. Brian, take us out. Yeah. All right, thanks, Brian. We're back again. We're here with JP. JP, man, Brian and JP. This always happens during the break. It's where we talk about
what are we doing next?
Yep. What's top of mind for you, and then we just blow the rails off, and it goes all these great directions. So we're going to try to recapture that,
and then we turn the mics back on, and everybody's
we're just staring at each other.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you say earlier? Remember that part? Yeah, no. And then Brian.
This is why I look at you and say, you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the Brians starts choking endlessly on their own water.
Yeah. All right.
So with that being said, so JP, during the break, we were talking about. I always ask my guests, not only why do you love doing what you do, but what would be a big win for you. And Brian Bernasconi grabbed on it and said, well, what do you think would be a good win for our audience to hear from you? Because you're really good at what you do. You're very thoughtful in what you do. You surround yourself with a lot of great resources, which is one of your value adds. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But for those who are listening, what would be a big win for them to know from your perspective as a VC that they can go, okay, I can act on that?
That's a great question. I think number one, don't think of VCs as being competitive. Think them as being complementary when you think about your cap table. You want to build a team around yourself that complements you as a founder to go through inflection points over the next 5 to 10 years. If you're a super early stage founder, you're talking about 10 years. If you're a bit later stage, there are other things which you need to know until you go to an exit route.
This is a marriage, right? Because it's a relationship. And
absolutely. It's the same thing investors into our fund. It's a marriage. We are together in this, and we are building together a firm that is long-lasting, helping early stage founders go to the next inflection point.
Do you think that because all money isn't good money. And when I say all money isn't good money, is that if you're a startup and you are gaining traction, gaining notoriety, you got the team, there's a vibe going on and you're getting looked at, you have choices. Not all startups are created equal and not all investors are created equal. What are some things that a startup should be looking for in their VC other than the cash? Because again, a lot of startups are in survival mode. They just need the money to survive. They need that next an injection of funding, but yet that could be a bad decision. What is it that you think would really be beneficial? And this may be, moving right into the question of your value add. Mm-hmm. What is it that you think they really need other than cash?
Well, I think it goes back to this complementary aspect of how does the person, the firm who invests into me as a founder match my journey and is going to be part of this journey going on. Mm-hmm. There is capital that is extremely passive. They just give you money and they're hoping you're going to go further. There's active capital. They're giving you money and they want to be on a board, or they want to have a board and a board observer. They might throw 15 advisors at you to help you with go-to-market or other things. And there is capital that is semi-passive, which basically wants to hear how you're doing once in a while, like hopefully on the cadence you agreed upon when the check came in, and then give you some advice and check-ins. And you as a founder, you need to know, who do you want in this equation? How do you build your ecosystem around you that helps you go to the next inflection point? And I think sometimes you don't have choices. You might have only like one person or one firm who wants to give you capital. Then you need to be really clear with that person, that firm, what are the next steps you're going to do to get to that next point.
So there's a big aspects of not only creating a product, but creating an ecosystem around you to support the viability of the venture.
Yeah.
Is that what I mean? Yeah.
The alignment around you. You need alignment. At the end of the day, what you don't want is being bothered throughout your journey to the next step on a weekly basis. How is it going? What are things happening? Why haven't you hit your numbers?
Yeah.
So there's like an alignment which needs to happen. And I think, to your point, is there bad or good capital? I mean, anyone could argue there's bad capital. Absolutely.
Bad terms, yeah.
And at the end of the day, there's also causes why this happens.
Yeah.
And I think the big plus is, if you're a founder out there, communicate transparently. Because people will find out no matter what.
It's going to come to the surface, yeah. So talk a little bit more about the value add that you and Graham have created, and this idea of alignment. When you see a company that has the potential to do well, you write them a check, and then you provide them these resources to align them with accelerated success. How are you looking under the hood and determine, okay, we're going to throw this in and put in these other elements, resources, and see how then that accelerates? How do you see that big picture?
Well, we first look at, is the founding team at a point where they need resources? That's the first alignment, because we can always write a check and not put resources in. Mm-hmm. Usually, if that's the case, it's an early stage founder, like pre-seed, where we see like, hey, they still are building, they're still finding the right customer, they're still refining the product. They don't need resource, they just need focus and someone to call to if they need any help. Mm-hmm. But they don't need someone next to them over the next year to 2 years. Like seed stage companies will bring a resource in, one person, they choose that person. Think of it like a normal hiring process. The only difference is we bring the talent to the table, or we bring our bench, and they choose from the bench. They decide what the person should earn per year. Mm-hmm. And then from that point on, we bring the alignment together that this person is going to go now work on that team, managing FP&A, HR, recruiting, marketing, communications. Think of like the person who posts on LinkedIn a job, but also posts the latest update about the company's product or conference, hosts conferences, organizes booths, organizes travel for the team, literally everything. Some people call it like the Swiss Army knife of the back office. I don't know. I think it's kind of like doesn't really fit because I'm Swiss. So
I thought it fit perfectly. I was like,
I thought so too. Except then wouldn't it just be an army knife? And I mean, do we have to attach the word Swiss to it if you're Swiss?
There you go.
I love it. So okay, so you're bringing in these resources. How have you seen? so let me back up a little bit. Not only are you going to be able to see the ROI of these resources that you provide these startups, but if someone comes to you and you go, hey, we want to invest in you and we also have all these resources, does that cost them extra? I mean, maybe that'd be a bad way of putting it, or does this just kind of come with your investment?
It's a great question. I mean, does that cost them extra? Yes and no. There is the cost of the employee they cover, but they would have hired either fractional or a full-time person to do this job in the future, no matter what. So the difference is they're paying this person through a services agreement and not through their own, it's not on their paychecks. It's basically a cost as a service agreement, but it's completely transparent. So we agree on salary, benefits are visible, and then the only overhead they get is a laptop, which is, again, for us, this is not something we want to make money with.
Yeah.
This is transparently a break even, and we're going to keep it like that. Only the portfolio companies within shuckerVC are able to get that service. This is not a service we want to commercialize. It's not a service we want to go out and become a consulting company. This is something within the Shucker portfolio that helps the Shucker portfolio grow from C to Series A. And as soon as they outgrow with their growth, that one person is able to replace themselves with separate hires in HR, in marketing, in finance.
And that's what business is all about, is how do you replace yourself?
Yeah.
And so you're having these ready-made resources available to them so they can accelerate that process. Why isn't other VCs doing this? I mean, why is this so unique to what you guys are doing? I mean, I know there are different firms that do unique things. Some will do an accelerator, others will do pitch events, others they'll do their own thing. But this seems to be logical in terms of what a startup needs. I mean, a startup that you're investing in doesn't need another pitch event, right?
Yeah, I think why you're not doing it, you have to ask the others. I don't know.
Yeah,
we have not found someone who is doing the same thing. And we encourage people to do it because I think it helps the ecosystem. As I said, we're not competitive, we're complementary. And at the end of the day, for us, it's hard, You don't do this by just saying, I'm going to hire a couple of people and they're going to do this all.
Yeah.
Like Graham and I have 3 jobs. We help our startups, which means we help our support partners in the startups. We look daily at the dozen of startups, and we raise funding for our fund.
And the back office too. It's just the list goes on and on. Yeah.
Maybe we are crazy, kind of nuts, but we like it. It drives us.
So I got to ask you the next question, and I've asked you this, in our conversations, but I want to ask you here for everyone else to hear it. I don't think it's so much crazy as it's just for love of the game, right?
Yeah.
And so why do you love doing what you're doing?
Well, tell me another job where I can meet amazing people on a daily basis. I can help them on a daily basis. And I can see them grow and together celebrate wins. And I think that's why. And building a firm that can have a legacy that outlives me and Graham, that's really what we're doing here. It's not, this is why it's called shuckerVC. It's not the Siegel Persico fund.
Yeah.
It's shuckerVC because our 2 families ate oysters in Tamales Bay. We opened oysters together, and we literally sat in a room and we decided what our brand would be, and we couldn't come up with a good name. And then we were like, why don't we just call it Shucker? And we had a big laugh about it because you can make many names out of that combination of letters.
Yeah.
And we just love it. It represents a little bit how it started, but it's not tied to just the 2 of us.
So you're in the process of raising a little bit more, but for the most part, you're in full swing of deploying at this point. What does a day look like for you? You're in the thick of it right now. What does it look like for you? And you guys got a lot of events coming up, and if you want to plug those, please go ahead and do that. If not, that's fine too. But what does a day look like for you?
For us, a day is a mix between the 3 things we're juggling, which I wouldn't call it juggling, which we're actually managing. We manage the deal inflow, which comes in through references and organically. We manage our investor relations, talking to our current limited partners and prospective limited partners. And we talk to our support partner and making sure that they are set up to do the best job for our portfolio companies. And then we also talk to our portfolio companies. So it's not only that we have someone in the company, they still reach out to us for advice as well.
Yeah.
So the day basically split into these buckets, and some days one bucket takes over a bit more time than the other. I would say in the summertime or like spring to summertime, it's usually the events, as you talked about. It's like events which we are hosting, events that we're participating in, that we're sponsoring. So that's most of our evenings during the week.
And what does that? So what does that do for you? So I have 2-part question. As you were talking, I was thinking about something. Startups are constantly raising, right? They're always looking to kind of like, what's the edge in order to get the funding that they need. We're always sharing that. But you're raising just like a startup.
Yeah, we have investors just like a startup has investors. It's absolutely true.
So what? And there's a lot of VCs out there who haven't cracked the code yet on how to raise their first fund. How have you been able to raise your fund, develop a relationship with LPs and investors that may be of you, and not giving away too much because you don't want to give away the secret sauce, but how have you been able to cultivate those relationships?
I think it's with the word you just said, cultivate. It's being honest, transparent, and approachable. Listening to what other people want. As a startup needs to listen what the fund wants to achieve. The fund manager needs to listen what the limited partner wants to achieve. And how this relationship can become symbiotic. And I think at the end of the day, for us, it has been finding like-minded people. We resonate really well with people who have built their own company, who have raised money before, who have exited before, because they know how hard it is with managing all of this in the back.
Yeah.
So they see the accelerant we can bring to an organization as a huge opportunity. And yeah, that's basically, we've been true to our story. And as a startup needs to be true to their story, a fund needs to be true to their story. And that really, I would say, this is no secret sauce. It's just, it's the business of humans at the end of the day.
Yeah. And so trust is really the currency in the beginning. And so how have you been able to build trust so quickly in such, I mean, you're not using this word, I'm using this word, but it is competitive. You're complementary. You're bringing a lot of complementary. And I love that. It goes back to what I'm trying to coin Oakland is the completion of a tech triangle. It's like Oakland is complementary to San Francisco, and San Francisco is complementary to Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley is then back complementary to Oakland. You have found these synergies in order to complement what others are doing. How do you flush that out? I mean, we talk a lot about empathy, but how have you strategically been able to build trust building the first fund? Because once you build the first fund, then it's subsequently, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not as hard as the first one because you've shown a track record. But how have you done that on your first go around building that trust?
It comes down to really, it's a cycle you go through. You're talking to a lot of people. You meet a lot of people who introduce you to people. So the trust is formed sometimes through different steps within the process. And it's a lot about listening. I think the hardest and the best part about our job is that we have to listen a lot.
Yeah.
We have to be good listeners as well. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm probably interesting to you, but what I'm hearing you say is that if you're identifying an LP or a potential investor, you have to really listen to what their purpose is in life now at this point. And how have you picked up on that?
I think it's not about the purpose in life, but what is the purpose what do they want out of this relationship? And at the end of the day, we want to be able to have this long-standing relationship. This is not just fund 1, as you said. There's going to be fund 2, 3, 4, 5. And at one point we might retire, who knows? I mean, and then we'll have a pool of talent that comes with us, will grow within the fund to become part of the firm, become investors, partners. And we are really focused on having already now people surrounding us that can grow with us. Because we believe really in the word firm. It's not a company, it's a firm. And the firm has to outlive its founders.
I like that. So it's really a legacy play, and you're pushing that with people you're bringing in. Like, what do you want to go beyond yourself? I love it. And so if we're looking long term, short term, and we're thinking JP and Shucker, what's next for you guys?
We are basically finishing our fundraise and continuing our deployment of capital. And what we really want to showcase to our investors as well as to our portfolio companies is that together we can go to the next step. Portfolio companies growing, building on the product they have built on. That's really what we care about. Bringing like-minded people into the environment which we are building. So building the talent pipeline for our support partners who join the portfolio company is extremely important to us. But then additionally also building the pipeline of companies we are looking at continuously, following them and knowing when the trigger point is for us to write a check. It's just as important as well.
And again, people heard that, the trigger point of when you should write a check. What does that mean?
For us, it has many facets to this. This is like how we meet the founders, how this relationship is progressing, how is the product progressing, what kind of other investors are in the pipeline for them, who will round up the cap table. So these are all aspects which come in that journey of fundraising. And I think we sometimes forget that these journeys can take longer for founders than they want to, but it's also sometimes longer for us that we want to, because things have to fall in place the right way. So I would say for us, it's really important to build a relationship with founders, because we believe that this journey is not only to our investors a 10-year journey, it's also a journey with the founder for 10 years. Yeah. Up to 10 years, I would call it.
And I hear this a lot. You talked about progressing things, and at the point where you write the check, oftentimes founders have expressed, it's taking for a long time, it's been dragged out. Is there a way to not accelerate that, because there's a due diligence process, right? There's a process of things. But when does a founder go, the VC is just not interested, but they're dragging me along, and kind of cut bait? Or when can they see that this is going to take a while and still hang in there? Because I mean, I know it's a balance, right? But if you can kind of zero in on a gray area where the cluster lands, how does a founder hang on, keep pushing through, and when do they let go? I love how deep you're thinking of this right now.
That's a really tough question, because I think it's such situationally based that it's hard to give advice on something where you're not in this situation where someone has to say let go or keep on going. Grit is important in this business, and I would say focus on what you're building for your customers and who you're building it for. And if you keep on that focus and really start delivering, things will happen faster. People look at your velocity. People look at what you're doing. I think a lot of times I see founders too stuck into the fundraising process and forget sometimes that they're still having to build and progress with their product as well.
Oh, that's a good reminder. Yeah.
So I think there's also the question: do you need funding, or could you bootstrap?
Yeah.
I know I'm not in the business of bootstrapping, but at the end of the day, technology is tremendously well positioned today to let people go really far.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like, instead of seeing the checkbook, see the next inflection point as another product update or another thing which you can talk about.
I like that. Brian, remember when Alicia was in here, and she often asks if I'm not going to write you a check, but gave you a magic wand,
and you could have anything you wanted
Yeah.
that wasn't money, what would it be?
What would it be?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're speaking about in terms of bootstrapping. Do you really need the cash, or do you just need some sort of resource that maybe you provide that could accelerate them or save them money?
Well, I think also it's like at the end of the day, everyone who is looking for a fundraising opportunity in the sense of like needs cash or needs like an injunction of capital usually has certain milestones they want to achieve, and they can either achieve them faster if they add more human resources to it, or they have better power in acquiring customers because they can spend more money on doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, today's technology gives you a lot of capabilities of, I would say, bootstrapping yourself to certain inflection points.
Yeah.
Using with a small amount of money, software out there that helps you getting some more signals. And sometimes it's maybe better to get some angel investor before you go to a fund to ask for money.
Why would that be strategically a better option?
Well, it's less dilution usually. So you usually are able to set terms which are friendly on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you some runway to test more, to have more signals to present to an institutional investor that could make your fundraising journey a bit shorter.
A lot to think about that. So I've asked you, what's next? We covered that, why you love doing this. We've kind of done a deep dive on what you look for, what you guys are creating. How can people connect with you?
LinkedIn.
Yeah. And do you want to talk about any of the events that you got coming up? Or are those more kind of closed doors?
Well, kind of closed doors. I mean, we're trying to organize something for next week during Plug and Play.
Uh-huh.
So, or this week, better said. It's actually this week.
Yeah. Good catch. That was a veteran move right there. I see what you did there.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is not the week you think it is.
Yeah.
So something for early stage founders and venture capitalists. So we're still in the planning phase of this. It's going to be more of an ad hoc event. We're thinking of like a happy hour. And then throughout the month, if you connect with us, we'll send some invites out for happy hours in the city as well. So we're hoping to have one the week of the 19th,
mm-hmm.
and then the following week there too. So just getting the pre-summer break crowd together before everyone hits out to, I guess, places where they can relax better. I'm not familiar with these places because I just love it out here so much. But
I know. I'm with you. But I'm also realizing that the summer session for Invest is getting shorter. Like there's more events going on year round. It's not getting completely shut down. But yeah, there is that summer slowdown coming up. But trust me, I think it's becoming shorter and shorter. But that's just me. What do I know? I'm an events guy. So
yeah, it's an interesting point. I somehow feel like the vacations get longer, but or get more often, but not longer. Maybe it feels like whenever there's a holiday, people are on vacation. But
amen. I think I like that strategy anyway.
I got a question because JP and I met at one of your events, Brian, and I was there. I had no dog in the fight. I wasn't asking for anything. I wasn't selling anything. I was there just as your guest. But one of the questions I would like to hear you answer, JP, is when you're at an event, you are obviously offering a service, and there are people who are looking for the service that you're offering.
Yeah.
Is there advice that you could give to people other than what the product or service is, right? Without just giving you feature. Is there advice that you could offer to people who are at these events that they could be getting more of what they wanted or having an easier time finding who they're looking for? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I think usually the list of people who are attending these events is public available, especially in the VC startup world. The events usually post which VCs are participating.
Mm-hmm.
So do your homework. So if you're a CPG startup building a product for end consumer, you might not want to talk to shuckerVC because shuckerVC is a B2B software investor. But there for sure is another investor out there who has that as their investment thesis. So I think this is just doing the homework, reading up on people so you have something in common and have a good conversation. I think it's never wrong to pitch your startup at an event, but I think there's times where you might be perceived too pushy if there's already conversation going on and then you come into the conversation. So there's there's little interpersonal hints which you should just know.
Can I give one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worn the angel investor badge. I've, wearing Silicon Valley venture. You get people approaching you and pretty much saying, hey, can you read my script? Right. And they got the next big thing. And I feel the best people who get your attention are those who want to learn about you first. Meaning, hey, why are you here? What, who do you know? Why do you love this? What attracts you to events like this, as opposed to who are you and can you fund me? Mm-hmm. I think that is a big turnoff. And if I can give any advice to anybody out there, is don't look at people's name tags first. It's like eyes up here.
Yeah.
Right. Eyes up here. And find out who that person is, because you never know what kind of conversation will naturally unfold.
I agree. And at the end of the day, if you can find out who participates at an event, look these people up, look up their picture.
Yeah, get that head start.
I make it pretty easy for people. I always wear the same T-shirt. I mean,
I think that's actually really cool too, by the way. I'm going to start doing that.
I might need to correct myself. I change my T-shirt every day, but it's the same color.
I was tracking you, JP. I knew what you meant.
Yeah. You just track it down by smell.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Well, again, you can connect with JP. We can connect with you on LinkedIn. You also sounds like you have a website.
We do, yeah. Shucker.vc.
Shucker.vc. Go check it out. Anything else top of mind? I want to thank you for being here today, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, great job. You love the studio.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I know Brian did a great job with it.
I mean,
it's like your favorite pair of jeans.
I know.
You just like putting it on.
Yeah, it is.
Totally.
It feels good.
All right, JP, thanks for joining us today. Brian,
thanks for having me, guys.
Great working with you as usual. You're the best.
All right, thank you, Brian. You did a great job today.
All right,
thanks,
we'll see
JP.
you all. See you all next week. Stay safe.